If you watch tech videos, you've probably seen lists telling you to download every new app to become hyper-productive. But look at your phone. It's likely a buzzing, vibrating wall of icons begging for your attention. App stores and influencers sell the idea that adding more tools automatically equals getting more done. In reality, stacking productivity apps on top of each other usually just creates more work. We are now at a point where you have to make a hard choice with your software. You can either have frictionless, cloud-connected automation, or you can have localized, manual privacy. You can no longer have both. We're evaluating 8 highly rated new Android apps to see exactly how they force you to make this trade-off. This chart maps out the landscape. On the horizontal axis, manual control versus AI automation. On the vertical axis, locally hosted versus cloud-reliant. As we plot these 8 apps, notice where they land. They shoot straight to the outer edges. None sit in the middle because each requires a distinct compromise. We're auditing the design philosophies of these tools so you can build a software stack that matches your specific workflow. A cluttered device is a liability. Protecting your data and your time requires defining a personal software strategy, rather than just clicking install on whatever happens to be trending. Let's start with the automator persona. This is for the user who values absolute speed and frictionless AI assistance, and is willing to trade manual control or data privacy to get it. This matrix tracks our tests. First is Comet, an agentic browser. Handed a request, like finding the cheapest power bank. It searches, compares, and pulls the top-rated option automatically. The cost is nuance. You must trust a black box AI. Next in the automator category is Albo. If you constantly save links, Instagram Reels, and YouTube videos, Albo funnels all that media into one centralized hub. It uses AI to apply context to what you save. If you drop a biryani cooking video into Albo, it extracts the ingredients and categorizes the recipe text for you automatically. But consolidating everything comes with a risk. You are creating a single point of failure for all your inspiration and bookmarks. If Albo ever drops its free model or decides to monetize user data, your entire digital library is locked inside their ecosystem. Then there is Wispr. This app tackles voice-to-text transcoding for meetings, supporting English and over 100 regional languages, all packed into a tiny 55-megabyte footprint. It removes the friction of typing during a conversation. However, the output is a massive wall of raw text. You save time up front by speaking, but you commit to dedicated manual editing time afterward to make those transcripts readable. These high-speed apps successfully eliminate initial friction. However, they shift the burden to the back end, exposing vulnerabilities in how you control your data and verify quality. We'll now shift to the minimalist. This user wants to escape ad trackers, recover device storage, and tightly isolate their personal data. Back to our matrix, we're adding Ulaa Browser. It forces strict separation between work and personal profiles, so habits never overlap. But building these walls breaks seamless syncing. Protecting data means managing passwords becomes a manual, repetitive chore. For storage optimization, there's OmniTools. Its main value proposition is allowing you to delete up to a dozen bloated utility apps. It packs 50 distinct utilities, calculators, converters, translators, into a single 60-megabyte package. This stops multiple background apps from draining your battery and serving you ads. The trade-off here is aesthetic. You are giving up highly polished interfaces for a bare-bones, purely functional design. If you want artificial intelligence without giving up your privacy, Google AI Edge Gallery takes a radically different approach. It operates entirely offline. Instead of pinging a server, the app downloads machine learning models directly to your phone's local storage. Your inputs and data never leave the device. The cost of absolute offline security is stability. You are dealing with experimental research previews rather than a polished consumer product. Running these models locally pushes your phone's hardware, generating noticeable processing heat. Achieving true digital privacy and optimizing your phone's hardware requires you to embrace manual digital labor. Finally, there is the specialist. These are users seeking highly targeted, culturally specific, or hobby-driven software. Sarvam, with its Indus model, is an LLM built specifically for the nuances of 11 different regional Indian languages. Where global English-first models often fail to grasp local context, Sarvam succeeds through a voice-first approach, allowing natural, culturally accurate spoken interactions. Its strength is also its limitation. It is highly tailored, meaning it lacks a vast multidisciplinary global knowledge base. Skycards takes a completely different specialized approach. It grabs the global aviation data you'd find in a standard flight tracker and morphs it into an interactive hobby. Instead of a sterile map showing plane icons, you get a vibrant interface. You can tap overhead flights to identify rare planes, save their stats, and even earn coins in a gamified loop. That gamification introduces distraction and adds extended screen time to what could otherwise be a simple 1-second status check. Specialized apps deliver unmatched, tailored engagement, but the moment they fall outside your daily core habits, they turn into digital clutter. Downloading all 8 of these apps today will fragment your personal data, drain your battery, and defeat the purpose of optimization. To figure out what actually belongs on your phone, you have to identify your primary daily friction point. This flowchart breaks it down into 3 distinct paths: fixing too much screen time, prioritizing privacy and storage, or requiring offline capabilities. If you are a time-poor optimizer, route down the first path. Install Comet to handle tedious browsing tasks, and Albo to organize your media, while explicitly accepting the privacy cost. If you are a privacy defender, your next step is to delete your bloated utilities, install OmniTools to handle local tasks, and switch to Ulaa to permanently wall off advertisers. And if you follow the third path, relying on regional languages or working without reliable internet, combine Google AI Edge and Sarvam for strict, localized, cloud-free processing. Treating your smartphone as a dumping ground for software diminishes its actual utility. It requires you to make a proactive choice about your digital ecosystem. A powerful phone setup requires a deliberate, cohesive strategy, rather than a collection of trending apps.